So compassionate. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about our featured poet. Her name is Marguerite Pigeon, and the name is suitable because her words fly high in the sky and bring messages. Marguerite migrated west from Ontario more than a decade ago to pursue the writing life. She's a former journalist and traveler, and she now writes poetry and fiction while making a living as an editor. That's really good. A lot of us would like to do that, but some of us do a bit of editing, but we just don't get paper. But she's that good. She makes a living at it. Good for you, Marguerite. I'm happy about that. We need more people trying to do that. Her first collection of poems, Inventory, was put out by Anvil Press, 2009. And Anvil Press is a very reputable press. If you're put out by Anvil Press, you're doing very good. And it was a finalist for the Gerald Lampert Award. And her recent short story collection, Some Extremely Boring Drives, was nominated for a 2015 Relit Award. And boy, let me tell you, I'm going to have to buy that because I've been on some extremely boring drives myself. And boy, too many to mention. Anyway, she is currently completing a book-length epic poem about fashion, and I love the name of this, called The Endless Garment. Oh, beautiful title. Like many people, she rents in Vancouver, sharing close quarters with a husband and 2 young children. And sharing close quarters with them makes a very tight unit, so they're never going to part. Anyway, with all that said, please put your hands together and welcome Marguerite Pigeon to the stage. A bit taller than me, so there we go. That should help. You're welcome.
Thank you, Candace. It's so nice to be here. You're so warm and what a treat. And it's so easy to get here. I'm definitely going to come to other readings. I had no idea how easy it was to get to this nice Mexican restaurant. So I'm going to read from my new poem that I've been working on. I wrote a first book of poetry, and then I kind of diverted. I wrote 2 books of fiction. And while I was doing that, I've been cooking up this long poem. So I've never written a long poem before. Those of you who have, it's a whole new undertaking of pace and tone and hard work and research in my case, because I am writing about fashion and about dress in a more general way, and which turns out to be about everything. It turns out to be about history and women's history especially, and about modernity, and about nudity, and about dress, and the contrast in our desire to both cover ourselves and aestheticize our bodies and beautify our bodies, and to also reveal our bodies. And my title is taken from a French theorist, Roland Barthes, and he wrote a really important work about fashion in which he thought about the language of fashion. And he said that to understand all the things that are said about fashion, you have to imagine a woman wearing a garment, and we take that garment apart to understand it, and then we understand all the pieces, and then we sew it back together, and we keep adding to it forever. And he called that the endless garment. So the poem is a little bit about the endless things that can be thought about dress. So I have extracted a chapbook that's going to come out this year with David Xeroth's press in North Vancouver. So I'm going to read from that. It's the only part that's about to be published. The rest is still not published. So the chapbook is called Redress. What I'm wearing now, this old thing, I've had it forever. Handmade, yes, 100% natural yarns, dew-retted, decorticated flax bast, beaten cotton, steeped in crocks of stale urine and indigo, cedar peeled from the supplest inner trunk, stranded, pounded, and entwined, plucked French Angora, hemp bundles, baby Bactrian hair spun on a dropped spindle. It's all organic. And you wouldn't believe the workmanship, how the loom strap held snug at the waist entire days, bright weft, induced to cross knotted warp. How the mallet had to fall just right to press Hawaiian bark into tapa cloth. How, by oil lamp light, gold velvet brocade was draped and fit with pins, too precious for scissor snips. How everywhere, sewing and knitting notions in baskets bristled, ready for a practiced grip. And far outside, sunrise, negotiations raged over stacks of slick beaver pelts. And by the last candle's wax, the rose petal, not quite given shape in lace. And on the stone patio, vast Egyptian tubs for finishing linens. Moon sprung onto each, still till first sun. I like the feel of all that effort, I do, but it's gotten hoary, démodé, dredge of history, necks struggling through hemp cloth or silk, thumbs working wood or bone, woven clasps or rope sash, eyes on one's own body, eyes on immediate others, the group nodding. All the guild recipes for woad blues, turkey reds, for blends of ochre and soot. All the rules for who donned what color and what motif, waking, knowing what you'd wear. Cloth as conduct, cloth as covenant, cloth as currency, cloth as bastion, cloth as battle cry, cloth as trance, cloth as mirror, cloth as matrimony, cloth as name, the heft of that, of who and when and how you could be. To me, stifling, choker, too tight, I want air, to cast off, be reborn, take responsibility for my look, full credit, eyes everywhere. So chuck it, let's shop. Let novelty power our strut as we enter revolving doors of carefree spree, to trend along the surface of taste, swell with bouclé visions and cerulean whim. We can buzz teeming racks till hangers swing wild, clang in the name of everything there is to own. We'll gallivant, giddy, gawk at the gamut, intimates, office, leisure, deluxe, cheap stuff. Then, in fetching thinking cap, pick the lot to pieces, pull seams of tenderness, meanness, use, and uselessness to the first knot. Finger pricks, blood dots, needle butts on lips afloat, the ancient crafting of our coats. We'll say what's us, what's enough. Inside out surprise, thickening in dress every time. This way to browse, it's free. This way to clutch beauty and toss dreck. I'll show you my sartorial start. This northern town, these brisk pine needle streets, a rented bungalow, a painted dresser, open a crack, feet of beloved red tights dangling over top. Then this school, my very own. Every beige brick, every gravel stone, every recess when someone was teased for flood pants or over-decorative homemade sweater, funny ears, or talk. The time I begged and received from an urban aunt stylish cords for Christmas. Velvety brushed cotton, dark cranberry fancied up with silver details, with aspirations for a teenage body, a style, a city. At the gathered ankles, a sway over snowbanks and tongue-out red cougar boots, ball-bended zipper pulls, like metronomes, out of sync with the town's half-plowed stretch. No mall, no shops, pre-internet, time in collusion, winter stuck forever, pre-supper time dusk, the hours heavy, gravy on fries. Sears catalogs arrived, plastic wrapped on our salted doorsteps. Dull thud of colored pages, flip books of maybe us, maybe more. We'd see juniors leaping from layouts in training bras and printed cotton tops. in alluring sterility, checking watches, pointing to clearing skies, lifting a size 5 foot to punt an immaculate ball through the pain of a childhood on the margins. Desire, plastic daffodils, bright striped beach balls, a rollaway lilac shrub, ample props for rebirth. Our mothers placed our orders by rotary phone, highway side slab pickup counter, twin lengths of fluorescent lights, and a card system for retrieval of labeled packets which we took in our hands and that were, after everything, metaphysically flat, holding no more than shorts, t-shirts, sometimes clam diggers. What had we missed? Had rebirth aborted at the town limits? We knew that down the highway, past the reserve, across the border, plastic flowers could be trusted to bloom for good, sure as gold. Or else, why had we bothered? We had seen it all and were not seen. We were nowhere after all. Boredom like a stupid girl pulling our hair all the time, and TV, a best friend who regularly scratched us from her party invite. How we waited for the next invitation, and the next, and the next. Thank you.